Hi, my name is Kingston Zoom Walters, aka King Zoom the Vegan Kid. I am 14 and I was born a vegan. Growing up, I learned that we drink almond milk because cow's milk is for baby cows. Eating plant-based food is just normal for me, and my mom's cooking is so delicious. Sometimes it was difficult when family would tease me. They would ask if I want chicken or eggs or ice cream or butter on my toast. My cousins asked me if I ever wanted to not be vegan anymore, and I said no, and I felt very upset. They knew I was vegan, but they still asked me. Sometimes I felt pressured and stressed, and I had to make choices. Okay, I'm going to use this. When I was 6 years old, I felt sad about the earthquake in Haiti, that I wanted to do something about it. So I asked friends to donate money to Doctors Without Borders instead of birthday gifts for me. I literally walked into my first protest. Climate change activists were holding signs and asked if I would join in. So I did. This was my first ever protest. For several years, I made freshly squeezed lemonade and sold it to raise money for local animal rescue groups. When I was 9, I started learning more about whales used for entertainment and wrote a presentation on the whale/orca on Telecom. I started to attend peaceful protests at the Vancouver Aquarium. I leafleted and talked to many people going in and out. Sometimes people that I spoke to decided not to go in and even join the protests. I was part of a team of activists that campaigned to vote on a ban on cetaceans in the Vancouver Aquarium. We spoke at the meeting, which led to the historic decision to ban whales and dolphins at the aquarium. Hello. We are trying to get Canada to pass Bill S-203. This would ban the capture and confinement of cetaceans in Canada. I helped gather signatures to petition for the bill. I made a video and sent it to senators and met with my local member of parliament. It is now in the final steps of being passed. I attended my first Animal Liberation Conference in Berkeley. It was so amazing. It was amazing. It was so fun, and I learned so much. I like to help humans too. Twice a year, I help a group of activists give out delicious food and toiletries to the people who live on the downtown east side. My mom taught me to always acknowledge someone who may be homeless or living on the street. If I have some food or some change, I will give it to them. If I don't, I make sure to give them a smile, of course. I have experienced bearing witness, making YouTube videos, stopping trucks at a slaughterhouse, filming and reporting animal cruelty at a slaughterhouse, leafleting and chalking, protesting with signs, chanting, marching, and doing speakouts. But my favorite form of activism is speaking and reporting on animals. visiting sanctuaries, and eating delicious vegan food, of course. Okay. I would like to be a news anchor or a wildlife photographer when I get older, and also have my own sanctuary. I hope that what I'm doing now encourages other kids to speak up for what I believe in. Thank you, Utah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome job, Kingston. Hi, everybody. My name is Gillian Walters, and I feel truly blessed to be Kingston's mom. As you just heard, Kingston... As you just heard, Kingston has been genuinely interested in the feelings of others since an early age. As a mother, my passion has been to nurture and strengthen his intrinsic empathy through encouragement, education, life experiences, and learning opportunities. As children, we identify with role models. We are drawn to people that reflect our aspirations and dreams. They are an example of the values and behaviors that we admire. They give us hope that we too can achieve our dreams. Can you remember who you admired and wanted to be when you were a child? As a counselor, I know how important having healthy role models is, especially role models that represent one's individual race accurately and authentically. Imagine for a second not seeing your image reflected back to you. Think about how that might feel. Think about how that might feel when joining a social group. As a white, vegan, single mother raising a vegan biracial child, I knew that we would have ongoing conversations about inclusion and race. I wanted to provide the historical truth around race and oppressive systems because we would not find this in our mainstream educational system. A system that has ignored the majority of the world's artists, thinkers, and humanitarians. Through home learning, we were able to design a child-centered curriculum grounded in Black history, First Nations history, social justice, veganism, food, art, spirituality, and movement. When Kingston was young, I noticed a lack of vegan children's books, and a further lack of books that reflected Kingston's image. That of a little boy with big curly hair and brown skin. The absence of racial representation and veganism in children's literature drove me to create my own. And so I wrote and illustrated 2 children's books with Kingston as the main character. My intent was to document and share Kingston's compassionate work, to add a voice that was lacking in children's literature, and to normalize the words vegan and activist. I am using this personal example as a mother opening space for historical accuracies around race and other systems of oppression as a metaphor of how we, as a larger group of animal rights activists, can open space. How do we do this? We begin or continue the work of understanding systemic oppression on a deep and personal level. Firstly, listen with compassion and empathy in our hearts. That means sitting with uncomfortable feelings that go along with white racial awakening. Be willing to make mistakes when discussing race. So often, we, the white majority, avoid the subject of race because we are terrified we will say something offensive. Remember that white supremacy thrives if we remain silent. Advertising that we are inclusive does not mean a whole lot if our spaces do not embody the type of culture that has examined our role in systemic racial oppression. It can be extremely difficult at first, but absolutely necessary if we truly want peace and liberation for all. So I ask that you inquire about race as part of your animal liberation work. Be mindful and humble and lead by curiosity, not judgment. Sharing our journey with others is one of the learning opportunities I mentioned earlier, so I thank you. I thank the audience and the organizers for giving us the opportunity to speak, and the many friends who supported us in getting to Utah. Thank you. So we've got a couple more minutes before the next amazing presenter, who was my role model growing up, because going vegan 30 years ago, there was nowhere to turn, but PETA was there, and it educated me, and it encouraged me to get active, so thank you, Ingrid. So in the next few minutes, why don't you turn to your partner and ask them who their role model was growing up while we set up the new system. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna plug that in. We're gonna get a mic stand up there. Jake, does it matter which mic stand?